Hello, everyone. I'm Ilana. I've spoken to all of you, I'm sure. I'll be on the Israel ride. You'll see me in almost in 3 weeks. So I'm excited to see everyone in person. I'm the Israel Ride manager, and I'm here with Howie Rodenstein, who's the founder and chair of the Israel Ride.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, so the structure of tonight, let's see how many people. I think we could do a quick round robin and everyone can introduce themselves and say where they're from and if they've been on an Israel ride, just so we could get familiar with each other. And after that, we could get started and we could go topic by topic and we'll say a few sentences about the topic. And if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, or write in the chat and we'll get to your question. Okay, so
Accelerating the freeway.
I'm passing it off to Jeffrey Pittler.
I'm Jeffrey Pittler, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been to Israel once, but looking forward to going.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Michael Berger.
Michael Berger, Cabin John, Maryland, first Israel ride.
Yay. Very exciting. Hello. Sarah Brown.
Hi, I'm Sarah Brown from Lincoln, Massachusetts, and it's my first Israel ride. I thought my husband Steve was on this downstairs in the basement, but maybe he's not. Anyway, we're very excited.
Yay, we're excited too. Bill Burns.
Hi, I'm Bill Burns. I've been to Israel several times, but never on a ride before.
Okay, welcome. Andrew.
Hi, Andrew Lewinger, Washington, D.C. This will be my 5th time to Israel, but first time on the Israel ride.
Exciting. Thank you, Andrew. Michael Weiss.
Michael Weiss.
Hi, Michael Weiss, Denver, Colorado. Second time to Israel, first Israel ride.
Welcome. Dina.
Hi, Ilana.
Hello.
So I'm here with my husband. We're both novices riding, and we're going to be on e-bikes, hopefully.
Hello. David Cinto.
Correct. This will be my first trip to Israel and my first Israel ride. Scarsdale, New York.
David Leifer.
Yeah, hey, David Leifer. I live in Berkeley. Second time to Israel, first time on the ride, and looking forward to it if I can actually get it all together.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I know.
Andy Fisher.
Hi, this is my 5th or 6th ride. I lose count. Not up with Howie, although I started with Howie. And so listening to David say first time in Israel, first ride, he's got some real treats to look forward to.
Yes, for sure. Jean.
Hi, I didn't hear what we're doing.
Just name, how many rides you've been on, where you're from.
Jean, never been on the ride. I've tried, this is my 4th year trying, signed up 4 times, but we had health crises to deal with. So this is my first time. I live in Tennessee. And I'm excited. I've been to Israel 9 times in the last 5 years. So it's one of my favorite places in the world. I'm also getting over pneumonia, so we'll see how far I can do.
We'll see you there.
Yep.
Okay, Larry. If you can unmute. Okay, we'll see if Larry unmutes. Bill, are you there?
Yes.
I asked you 3 times.
Oh.
Are there more than one Bills?
Bill Huron. Yeah. Okay. So if they unmute, they can introduce themselves. If not, we'll get started. Thank you everyone for coming. This is really exciting.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Larry. Larry, we're having.
Can you hear me now? This is.
You're muted now. Oh, and I see Bill also. Hi.
Well, Alana, I'll introduce myself just
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm Howie Rodenstein. This whole thing is my baby. I started it 20 years ago, 2003. Andy Fisher was one of the wonderful souls who was on the first ride in 2003, one of 30 something riders that we got together. And I've been doing it ever since. I'm thrilled to see all of you, most of you first timers. It's going to be a great experience. And we're here tonight. Really, we don't have anything new, especially to talk about, but the idea is to be comfortable and know what you're getting into and to be ready to have a good time. And that's what we're going to try and do here, answer questions, to help people feel comfortable, especially with all the logistics around it, which are always complicated.
Okay, so with that, we'll get started on the first topic, which is getting to Israel. I'll just say that tomorrow a big email is going out that has an arrival pack. So the arrival pack is like, I don't know, 10 pages long, and it has like all the information you could need. So that's arriving tomorrow. Also arriving in that email will be a PDF of people who are on similar flights, so that if you're arriving in Israel on a certain day and time with other riders, you could be aware of that, and you may want to decide to carpool together to the hotel, or take the train together, or just say hi to each other in the airport. So those two documents are coming out tomorrow. And another document called the transportation document, which I already sent, but I'm going to resend it. It's a document that has all of the different ways to get to the Yarim Hotel. So the hotel is not in Jerusalem, it's kind of outside of Jerusalem. And we are providing free shuttle services to the hotel. So that document will help you figure out if you want to take a taxi or a shuttle or a train and a shuttle. So a lot of good information that you could have in your hand, like you could print out and have with you, is coming tomorrow. Howie, passing it to you.
Yeah, maybe just we'll talk about bikes for a minute. For those of you who are bringing your bike, the first time it's always a little a treacherous situation, or you feel like, because what happens is you have a phone number to call and a guy in an unmarked van will show up and take your bike from you, and he does not give you a receipt or anything of the sort, but your bike box will then be there in the Hotel Yarim a couple of days later. It's you basically just go out sort of to the outside the terminal, and you'll have called the person. He'll call you again, all via cell phone. Everybody needs to have a cell phone that works in Israel. It's really pretty straightforward and simple. If anything doesn't work, you just call the person again. And if you can't get through to the person, you call one of the staff numbers that's in the arrival pack. The arrival pack, as Ilana said, is 10 pages. I highly recommend you print it out. It's you got 11 or 12 hours on a plane. It's nice plane reading, and it's just good to have when you're there. Any
So the phone number for the bike people on that arrival, on that pack,
Yeah, there is.
for those of us that are bringing? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And we just call them when we land, and then they'll come shortly.
Yeah. They should
Yeah.
know when to expect you based on the flight information you provided. So they'll already like have your bike ready to go, but when you get to the out of the baggage claims and you're standing you know, right outside the airport, you could just give them a call to try to meet
Yeah.
up, to link up.
You know, there are certain times when there are a bunch of riders arriving at similar times, even oftentimes on the same flight. So they may get there ahead of time. If you're coming in at more of an off time, they may not be there, and it's a, you know, a 15-minute drive for them to get to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about arrival?
I have a question about the bike. So do you just put it on one of those carts to get it from luggage claim outside with the rest of your luggage?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing the same thing with my rental car. So I have a guy I got a call for my rental car is also picking me up. So I want to make sure those two coordinate.
I had a quick question also. I'm sorry, it's a little out of order, but are we gonna be able to wash any of our bike clothes while we're on the ride, or is it you got to bring enough to last the 5 days?
There's bike clothes are pretty easy to wash in the sink in your hotel room. And in Israel, it's dry and it's hot and they dry pretty quickly. So there's very limited, there's really no laundry service at the hotels that's active. But you know, I would recommend doing that because it's nicer to travel light.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Howie, there was a suggestion to put the helmet and shoes in a bag other than the bike bag.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So your bike cases are generally opened by TSA, and you know, you'll find a little slip in there that said TSA opened it. And sometimes I think they open it and close it and that's it. And sometimes they open it and stick their hands around and do things. So over the course of the years, we've had small things that were put in bike cases disappear. You know, particularly I wouldn't put your GPS or anything like that in the bike case, but you know, your helmet could disappear. So it's probably better not to put much of anything in with your bicycle that you wouldn't want to, you know, anything that you'd be comfortable replacing in Israel quickly. But it's just, you know, we've had thousands of riders over the years. And so, you know, bikes do get lost once in a while. If your bike is lost, there's a number to call of our expert bike finder person. For those of you who know about or may want to do one of these chip things, these chip locators, what's the Apple one called?
It's AirDrop or something.
AirTag.
AirTag. It's really amazing. We had somebody 2 years ago whose bike didn't arrive and the airline didn't know what it was, but he told him it was in Rome because his chip, he had one of these chip tags and he could follow it. So it's just not that bikes often get lost, but if you're bringing a bike, I would get to the airport a little earlier than you regularly get to the airport. It'll arrive.
So I was going to put my like riding clothes in with my bike in a.
You know, I wouldn't recommend it unless you want to potentially go shopping for riding clothes in Jerusalem.
Because I'm there a whole 10 days before for an event, so I'm trying to limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just speak for a second about the shuttles that we're providing. So there's one shuttle that will go from Jerusalem to the Yarim Hotel where orientation will be. So that'll be on Monday, the day before the ride starts at 3:00 p.m. And that will be from the Vert Hotel, VERT. So that's one shuttle at 3:00 p.m. on Monday. And then there'll be another shuttle on Tuesday, the first day of orientation, and it'll be a 10 a.m., I think 10 or 10:30 a.m. shuttle from the Vert Hotel. So all that information will be sent out tomorrow, but just wanted to reiterate that there are shuttles.
Elena, it's just on the transportation sheet that you guys had before, it's at 10:30 on Tuesday from outside I didn't say Vert Hotel, but
Yes, it's so we actually we were, planning to do it from a certain location, and then we got intel that it's really crowded there and that it's not such a good location to have buses stop in. So the Vert Hotel is right actually next to that location. So that's why I'll send an updated transportation
Okay.
document with the
Okay.
new location. But good
Okay.
point. I forgot to mention that we've changed the location.
Right.
Yeah.
Alana, I had a question about that, if that's okay.
Sure.
I didn't see in that paper you sent, are we supposed to tell you whether we want to choose which option?
Yeah,
we're gonna
if you
do?
wanna, if you wanna be on the shuttle, please let us know.
Okay. And I didn't know, I just realized that we're actually gonna be in Tel Aviv, so we need to get to Jerusalem to get one of these shuttles.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that the Vert Hotel is right outside of the Jerusalem train station. So
Okay.
you could take like a bus or a train.
Okay.
So the hotel is between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, closer to Jerusalem. So, I mean, you could price out a taxi from Jerusalem, which will be quicker than going all the way into
Yeah.
Jerusalem and then waiting and going, but just, and make the decision based
I'll
on
be
that.
driving in from Tel Aviv area Tuesday morning, so if anybody wants to connect with me, and I can give her a ride depending on how many can fit in the car.
Tuesday, we're gonna be there on Monday.
Oh, okay.
But thank you so much. Not that you were talking directly to
Well,
me. but
anybody,
thank you.
I don't know if it's gonna be Monday night or Tuesday, but probably Tuesday morning I'll drive in and then drop my car.
Just to go over the pre-ride activities a little bit, the opportunities that you have. There's 2 different tours going on Monday, which you have to sign up for, and they're prior to the ride. So there's a fee for each one of them. I think it's $80. Is that right, Alana? One is called the East-West Jerusalem Tour. The executive director of the Arava Institute grew up in an Arab village that's part of Jerusalem, and very close to the West Jerusalem and Jewish Jerusalem, but at the same time very far. And so he, together with somebody who lives in Jerusalem, right near that village, but not in it, do a tour it's really interesting to get a feel for some of the issues of Jerusalem. And separately, there's an Old City tour, which is kind of a classic if it's your first time in Israel, haven't been there, led by our tour guides, that's going to go through the Old City. You sign up for those on Explority, and if you want more information, Alana can help you another time. Monday night, for those of you who are coming to the hotel Monday night, where we have a bus that will take people to a restaurant in Abu Ghosh, which is an Arab village near the kibbutz where we're staying at, which is well known for its hummus and its food. And so we're as a group, we can have dinner there. And then Tuesday morning, there's also a tour of Abu Ghosh, which is part of the ride, so there's no charge for that. If you're there Monday night, you can go on the tour Tuesday morning and then come and set up your bike in the afternoon.
Is there a sign up for the meal on
Yes,
Monday
there's a
night? I didn't.
meal on Explority.
Explority? Okay. I didn't see that.
I see that there's a question in the chat. Do we need to call the airline in advance to make sure we could bring a bike? I've heard we need to do that if we take El Al, other airlines. Can anyone speak to that?
I have heard that sometimes with El Al, the one thing we know from working with airlines for years is whatever they tell you when you call them, something different might happen at the airport. There's just not a lot of consistency. Are you going to get charged? Are you not going to get charged? So I did see a note from somebody who waited on hold for 90 minutes today at El Al in order to tell them they were bringing a bike. That's something that hasn't been done in the past, but I think they're doing now. You should check their website if you're flying El Al. But in general, the bike is considered a piece of oversized luggage. But in general, I don't think you need permission in advance to bring it. But if you're flying El Al, you should check that out.
El Al is very confusing. They said they did want to know in advance. I also spent time on the phone. It was not productive. I communicated with them through Facebook Messenger, and that actually was productive on Israel hours, and
Wow.
Did it through there.
Good tip.
Great input.
Michael, can you share what you were told about by LL?
Well, the website says they'd like to know in advance. So I just tried to call them to let them know in advance. But despite many efforts, the phone turned out to be not the way to go. But they refer you to their Facebook Messenger chat on the LL website. And that worked for me.
Thank you.
Ilana, we should send that out as a hint to everybody in one of the communications.
Yeah, sure. I could add it tomorrow. I mean, to tomorrow's communication. Should we move on to the second topic, which is orientation day? Does anyone have any more questions about arriving? Okay, let's move on.
Tuesday is orientation day. The orientation itself, which is absolutely mandatory, because it's important that you get the latest information of what's going on. We have what we call a briefing. We have briefings every night of the ride. They're an integral part of making sure the ride works. Stuff happens in the world that sometimes means what we planned, it doesn't come out exactly the way we planned it. There can be weather issues, there can be security issues, there can be road construction issues. Stuff happens. So everybody's required to be at the briefing every night. That's at 4 or 4:15 on Tuesday. The time up until then is yours, with the following caveat. You need to, at some point during the day, morning or afternoon, set up your bike. If that's your own bike that you're bringing, we have mechanics there to help you. If it's a rental bike, the rental bikes will be there. You want to get on the bike. If you brought a seat or anything else that you want to put on the rental bike, the mechanics will help you. And then our lead riders will organize short test rides. It's very short distances, but the key is to get on your bike, make sure the brakes work, make sure you got the shifting down and that works, and make sure it's set up properly so you don't run into trouble right as we try and launch the next morning. There's Tuesday morning, there's the trip that I mentioned before to Abu Ghosh, and lunch is provided. We're doing a picnic lunch on Tuesday outside the hotel. And then there's a program Tuesday night where we're going to have Alon Tal, who's the founder of the Aravai Institute and an ex-member of Knesset and a wonderful guy, speak together with Tarek Abu Hamid, who's the executive director of the Institute.
Planet World.
Sorry.
Howie, can I mention something?
Sure.
Hi, this is Larry Herring. I didn't introduce myself before. I want to mention on the bicycles. I'm from San Diego. I want to mention I took a trip a few months ago to Canada with my bicycle, and when at the airline, I said it was sporting equipment, and they charged me $40. And the people who said it was oversized baggage, it was $100. So since it is sporting equipment, some airlines charge less for sporting equipment.
As I said, our experience is anything can happen when you get to the airport. Doesn't matter what the airline told you. Depends on the person you talk to and what mood they're in that day, and there's a lot of inconsistency. Anyway,
right. Just use the word sporting equipment instead of oversized, and you might save some money.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry. Any questions about orientation?
I have a question about, so we're renting the e-bikes. Seems like now's a good time. I have two questions.
Sure.
That may seem kind of silly, but one question is, will they have water bottle holders on them?
Yes, they should. Yes.
Okay. And my next question is, so I've started to take cycle classes, and a number of people suggested that I buy like a special cushion thing that you put on top of the seat. Do you recommend getting some added padding?
A lot of people like it if you're not used to having a lot of hours in the saddle.
Yeah.
And riding, that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
You can buy them on Amazon. There's a ton of different ones.
Are they kind of one size fits all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you know what? If you don't mind, I have one more question about water bottles.
Sure.
So do you guys recommend a particular, I have these Hydro Flasks, but is there a particular kind of water bottle that's recommended for, hot, for this sort of thing?
No, one that just, you want the bottle to be relatively light as compared to being heavy.
Yeah.
And just one that takes water. That's
yeah. Okay.
Planet Tech or Planet World?
What?
And Dina, I see you have a question in the chat about the SIM card. So the SIM card, the cell phone company that we have an arrangement with for SIM cards, you would pay for it online, and then you would pick up the SIM card at the airport.
Oh.
Yeah. So
whenever we arrive.
Yeah, whenever you arrive.
Oh, awesome.
It'll be there. It's right like after the baggage claim, you like exit the baggage claim, and there's an area with like Dunkin' Donuts and that kind of thing.
Lana, I love you so much.
Love you too.
Well, how do we do that,
Work
Alana?
out.
And what company is it, and how do we do it?
It's in the email. It's called 019. I could send it again. But yeah, so it's like there'll be like an area when you exit baggage claims where there's like an exchange currency section, and there's a store for the SIM card.
but you have to sign up in advance, and the information is it in the arrival pack?
It was in what I sent out. Yes, it's in the arrival pack, and it's the email I sent out, I don't know, 2 days ago. But it'll be in the arrival pack.
So we don't need to do that with our carrier in the United States?
You could decide, like you could call your carrier and ask how much their international plan is. Sometimes it's worth it to just stick with your own American plan.
That's
one
what
of
I
the-
did.
Yeah.
T-Mobile, I have T-Mobile, and it wasn't very expensive. I think it was $50, but I'm staying longer, so I think it covers the whole time there.
It can work either way. One of the key things that we're going to use for communication is an app called WhatsApp. Many of you may be familiar with it. If you're not familiar with it, you may want to just try and get familiar with it. There's instructions on how to download it. and put it on your phone if it's not there in the arrival pack. But when and if we have last minute changes or things that happen, it's a great way to get in touch with people instead of trying to yell and scream and find everybody wherever they are. And if you don't know what you're doing, we'll help you at registration to get it downloaded, but just something to be aware of.
Howie,
Oh.
if I may, Verizon told me that it would give me cell phone service in Israel. Am I being mistaken or
No. You can, I think all the major cell phone companies, whether they charge $5 a day or $10 a day or whatever it is, they have plans that will give you not only cell phone service, but you probably want to get data as well, to be able to read your email and do whatever. And you can get it either through this company that we have in Israel, or there are a number of companies that give out Israeli SIM cards, or you can do it with your carrier.
Thank you.
I have Verizon. I've used it before. It works fine.
Okay.
Andy, did you have a question or your hand up?
Let me unmute. I think I don't have Verizon or one of the major carriers. You lose if you do it with your American carrier, especially if you're only in Israel for a week or 10 days. It's not very expensive. Even if you're there longer, it's not so expensive. But if you take an Israeli SIM card, the people that are calling you from the States on your US number aren't going to be able to reach you. I wanted to say something to the woman who was asking about seat padding, and what you want to bring is butt butter, which
What is that, like Vaseline?
Yeah, exactly. And I find if I ride more than an hour or two, which we're going to be doing every day, it's essential. The issue with it is it comes in a tube, and if you are bringing it, put it with your checked luggage, because you will lose it if you bring more than 3. It's larger than 3 ounces, and it's considered a liquid.
Do you put that on at night, or do you?
In the morning when you put on your shorts.
You.
And you can get it at any bike store. It's just like, it's just like putting on sunscreen, but on your butt and on your, on your groin and all that area. You do it.
You.
And it's really.
You'll be glad you did, Dina.
It's the difference between being unpleasant every night after the ride, or
because what happens, your tushy gets chafed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
not what gets chafed.
not just your chewy, not just your tushy.
Some of us more than the tushy. Yeah.
Hey, TMI.
I love how we're
use
normalizing.
padded. I have padded bike underwear, and I'm probably going to bring padded bike shorts. So, from a woman speaking to a woman, the padding helps.
Also at orientation, there'll be a women's gathering. I think the women should have received an email about that. If not, feel free to contact me. So that'll be from 3 to 4 on orientation. Shall we move on to life on the road, the next topic?
Yeah, so we have 3 different riding groups that ride at different paces and do different amounts of miles each day. The whole idea is for you to have a good time, not have to work too hard to keep up. You want to find the group that's right for you if you're not sure. The rule of thumb that I kind of use is that if you're comfortable riding sort of 30 miles of rolling hills at 10 to 12 miles an hour on average, you'll be most comfortable in the Shomrim group, which is the shorter distance, which does roughly 30 miles a day. If you're comfortable in the 12 to 15 mile an hour range, I think you'll generally, and again, this is on rolling hills, which not everybody has rolling hills, but and it's not climbing, climbing in Colorado, who's ever the Coloradoan, like 12 to 15 miles an hour. If you're comfortable with that average speed, over 30 or 40 miles, you'll be, I think, most comfortable in the middle group that does 50 to 70 miles over the course of the day. And the fastest riding group, if you're in the 15 to 17 mile an hour range that you're comfortable riding over that distance, you're probably good there. What I always tell people is, if you're not sure where you best belong, is on the first day, if you're thinking between two groups, on the first day, try the more challenging one. And there'll be opportunities to fall back, and it'll give you a good sense of where you want to be, because on Wednesday night, you have to make a decision that relates to what you're going to do both Thursday and Friday as to which riding group you're going to be in. The Shomrim, which is the riding group for people who like to take their time and enjoy the scenery, rides about 30 miles a day and then has an activity in the afternoon. You'll generally, there's a bus that follows you. You'll generally get on the bus and be taken to an interesting spot and spend an hour or two there and then get back to the hotel. You can take what we call day bags, which you can put on the bus if you want to try and get out of your bike clothes before you go to the afternoon tour. You won't have a chance to shower or whatever, but just if you'd rather not be in your bike shorts, there'll be a place where you can change your clothes in a restroom or in a place nearby. And it's important just to find the place that's right for you and that you're going to enjoy, as it happens over time. Any questions on sort of the riding groups? Great.
I had a quick question. So if you start out like in a shorter group and realize you're stronger than you thought you were, can you switch back and forth day by day?
You can, in general, you can switch day by day. However, on Wednesday night, which is after the first day, you have to make a decision for 2 days, pretty much. So that's why we say on Wednesday, if you're not sure, try the more challenging group for you on Wednesday. And then again on Sunday and Monday, you can switch groups freely.
I have one more quick question on that. If you're in the long group, the hardest group, do you have most of the day, or is it assumed you gotta end at a certain time?
Well, we ride both the middle group and the long group rides pretty much most of the day. There are sag wagons with everybody. So if you are too tired and you need to stop riding for a little bit,
sure,
you can get off your bike and do that. We generally, we take a nice break for lunch.
Yeah.
We have along the road, we have what we call pit stops, which are optional places to stop that have water and some snacks, and rest stops, which are mandatory places to stop. So we gather the group together. So the riding is pretty much for those two groups. The riding is the activity for the day.
Yeah, good. And there are people that know the route, I assume.
Yes, we have what we call lead riders, who are very strong riders who all know the routes. There's always a lead rider in the front and a sweep lead rider in the back. And we try not to let anybody get lost in the middle. It's a little more challenging the first day or two because there are more turns. Once we get into the desert, there's not a lot of place to get lost.
Yeah. Okay.
Any more?
Ivana, do you
Yeah.
have me on, I don't know, my camera's not working, or do you have me muted or off camera?
Who is speaking? Sorry.
Bill Burns.
Oh, I don't
We hear you, but we
hear
don't
you.
see you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna show you show whoever that was about the butter butt. I got a tube here. But
Well, yeah, it
somehow,
doesn't look like your camera's working.
yeah, okay,
I don't know why I didn't take you off camera.
okay.
So my
Okay.
plan is not to check a bag at the airport because I think at our last call, David maybe said not to bring a lot. And so are these tubes, like, can you get a few of these tubes that can go in on the plane?
The one I have is 8 fluid ounces, and it's like a
Oh,
big tube of
that's too big.
toothpaste. You're
So,
gonna
Yeah,
want to pack that in
that'll
your
get
luggage.
Yeah,
So-
but I'm not
so-
checking anything, so.
so just
buy
so you
smaller
know,
ones.
there's two big tubes and they're different for men and women. They're compounded differently. So make sure you order right. But there are also small packets of the stuff and you can buy a box of 10 little packets and those
Okay.
go fine on the airplane.
And
Okay,
it's
thank you,
called-
whoever said
It's
that.
called chamois butter,
Okay, well,
and they
I'm
have
gonna
it at
take-
every bike store.
And
I'm
at
gonna take care
Amazon.
of my tushy. Thank you, guys.
It's not really the tushy that hurts.
I got that, but
All right. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, and I've been on many of these calls. So
Funny.
thank you for sharing, everyone. The next topic is Shabbat. Shabbat at the Dead Sea. Howie.
So people generally appreciate Shabbat in a little different way after having ridden 3 days, having a day of rest. We have a lot of activities on Shabbat for you, but they're all optional. You can just hang out and relax. There's a beautiful pool. We're at the Dead Sea. If you've never done that, it's an experience. But really the highlight of the day is a program in the afternoon that it's a panel of alumni of the Arava Institute, who are the crew who are helping us all during the week, are alumni of the Arava Institute, Israelis, Palestinians, Jordanians, other international people, and they all tell their stories. And it's really, especially for those of you who are coming for the first time, it's an event that you really don't want to miss, because some of the stories are amazing and you really get a feel for some of the fantastic things that go on at the Arava Institute. And then late in the day on Saturday, we all meet together and go do Havdalah together. I believe we're going to do it on the beach of the Dead Sea. It's really quite a pretty setting when that all happens. And then dinner, and there's a briefing Saturday night, just like every night. All the activities will be up on a schedule that you can see at every hotel. We have a little help desk that we set up that will have a schedule for the day. and what's happening, any other announcements. And you know, you can participate in those activities, or you can go explore a little bit around the Dead Sea. And the area we're on the Dead Sea is called Ein Bokek. Among other things, there's going to be an early morning hike that will take you up a little bit over the Dead Sea to a really nice spot. And again, if you want to sleep in and just take it easy, that's fine. There are services Friday evening. There are services Saturday morning. Everything is optional.
There'll also be yoga.
Do we need some long pants or nice clothes or what's the?
It's on Friday night. People will, I don't want to say get dressed up because that's the wrong, but won't just be schlumpy. How's that? So I mean, I generally bring a pair of decent pants and a nice shirt for Friday night, and otherwise it's shorts and t-shirts and not much that's really needed for the ride.
Yep.
Any more Shabbat? Oh, for Shabbat, if you plan on going on the morning hike, it's recommended to bring water shoes, but or sandals. But that'll be on the packing list that comes out tomorrow in an email, so you'll get all of that information. Any questions about Shabbat? Okay, so that's, I think our last topic is the post-ride trips. One trip is the Petra trip, and that is fully booked. So people who have signed up for the Petra trip, you'll be staying in a hotel in Eilat, and then there will be a bus that picks you up in the morning, and you'll go with that tour provider to Petra. Howie could talk about the 1 and 2 day options for the Arava Institute trip.
Is it possible to get the name of the hotel or the address for that? Will that be in the group?
Yeah. We'll email the Petra people about that. Okay. It's called the Prima, but yes, I'll email you.
Called what? I'm sorry.
The Prima, Prima.
Thanks.
Sure.
We just added a new option, which is to spend Tuesday, the day after the ride, at the Arava Institute. Generally, people who are leaving directly after the ride end up flying out of Tel Aviv on Tuesday night. And you can do this. If you do this, there'll be a bus from Eilat, and this will include the hotel, so everybody's together. There'll be a bus from Eilat that goes to the Institute. You'll spend the morning and some of the afternoon learning more about the Institute. You can see the write-up that's in the material that we've sent. And then you'll get on a 6 o'clock flight to Ben Gurion, and you can then stay in Israel and do what you want from there, or make a midnight flight, which a lot of the outgoing flights are, late at night from Israel to the States. It's really quite wonderful to experience some of what goes on at the Institute. There's a charge for that, which is mostly for the hotel, because we want everybody who does that to be at the same hotel, so we don't have to go to 5 different places in the morning. I think it's $160 for double occupancy and $240 for single occupancy. If you're interested in doing that, alternatively, if you're leaving for Tel Aviv in the afternoon, you can hang out and spend the day in Eilat.
So that's that. The Arava Institute post-ride trip, either 1 day or a night over at the Institute, is still open for registration. Jean is doing it. Who's on this call? So yeah, it'll be great, and it's not too late to sign up. So we have a couple minutes left. Is there any other random questions anyone has that was not answered yet?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I have another thing happening the week before in Israel, and because it's Israel, they keep changing my times. So Monday, I'm supposed to put an installation in. If I can get to Yarim, is it called, on Monday night, what's the latest I would need to let someone know that once, like if I need a room there that night for the Monday?
I don't know. Like, yeah.
And who would I contact? Would it be Howie or?
Like if you needed a last minute room on Monday?
Yeah.
Well,
no, this weekend.
You can contact me. In the arrival pack, you'll have my
Oh,
instructions.
if you'll know this weekend, that probably should be time enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope. Again, I'm dealing with Israel bureaucracy of putting in an installation. They keep changing things on me.
Right.
How much is it? How much is the Urim hotel just for that night?
I think if you're doing bed and breakfast, it's $144. If you're doing double occupancy bed and breakfast, there's different. If you're doing single occupancy, half board, like there's different boarding types, but the cheapest is $144. So yeah, let me know as soon as you know. And we could try to accommodate you. I'm sure we could make it work. So
Yeah, I may do the same. We'll see.
okay. Yes, everyone let me know as soon as they know. But yes, you will have a place to sleep. Yes, any other questions?
And I guess one other question I have is there a way, I think you said this, you're gonna let us know if people are arriving in Israel sooner, like near our flights or a few days ahead of time, or how will we
Yeah.
know who of us are there?
That document will come tomorrow. I'll be sending it out tomorrow. So yeah, it'll just like arrange all the riders by arrival time. Yeah.
So if we still have a couple of minutes left, one of the, I think, really special opportunities on the ride is getting to know and meet and know the crew. And so these are, for the most part, alumni of the Aravai Institute, who many of them have master's degrees, PhDs, have real and normal lives, and but feel a real warmth to the Aravai Institute and come and help us do the bike ride, and it's a rolling reunion for them. And it's a wonderful way to get to know people of a different generation than ours, and people who come from very different backgrounds than we all do. And I encourage you all to find the right opportunities to try and interact with them and talk with them. Please be aware that they have some different some of them have different cultural sensitivities than we do. But it's among the most rewarding things that riders talk about, having gotten a chance to speak to and meet the crew. During the day, they're helping set up our pit stops and rest stops and making sure you have water and tents and all the different things that happen. And there are times when they're quite busy, and there are times when they're just hanging around a bit. So take advantage of that to whatever extent that you can.
I have a question about Ride with GPS. What is the Ride with GPS files? How do you use them on the ride?
Do you generally, when you ride, do you use a Garmin or a bike computer?
I don't generally ride. And my idea is I'm going to be following whoever is the leader. So
So you don't necessarily have to worry about the ride with GPS files. That's for people who want to track exactly where they're going on their bike computers or on their phones and are used to using that kind of thing. So we do also offer what we call cue sheets, which is a piece of paper which tells you what we're doing for the day, where we're going, and what the turns are and how far the next rest stop is and all kinds of things questions you'll find that you start asking when we get going.
Hi, this is Larry Herring. Can I say a thing real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so on 019 on the company with the telephones, they're very, very helpful. And if you have a phone that takes a chip, they'll take your screen, take everything apart, your case off. They'll put the Israeli chip in and they'll take care of you. They'll put your case back on. And you just have to know with AT&T, on my phone, it's $10 a day. If you just want to, stay like you're an American, they'll connect you up worldwide. The other thing with them is with the two new iPhones, the 14 and the 15, they don't use chips. So you have to figure out how to do that yourself. You have to download the app. The other thing I wanted to mention, the week before the conference, the week before the ride, I'm going to be attending a conference called the Planet Tech World. If anybody's there, look me up.
Thanks, Larry. All right. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming and taking time to be here. And if you have any other questions, you know how to reach me and the rest of the staff. We are available. Oh, okay.
Just one more question about training. So one is I'm getting over pneumonia, but the week before I'm going to be in Israel. So if people don't ride that week before, the body can still do this long ride, right?
Sure. The more you train, the better. And if you've trained, our bodies can do a lot. So
see if I'm unmuted.
Larry, you're unmuted if you want to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick. My brother works for an airline, and I just want to say that he's noticing a lot more people sick on the airplanes, and he's starting to wear a mask again on his last flight. And if people are sitting next to you on the airplane and they start coughing, get out a mask and put it on for your own safety, and carry a mask with you on the airplane just in case.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Larry. I don't know, in my environment, I'm hearing about more and more COVID happening. People aren't getting seriously sick, but it's not fun to have. We're asking everyone to, once you're in Israel, to test, to bring a rapid test and to test, because even though you don't necessarily get very sick, we don't want you coming in and infecting 20 or 30 other riders and getting our own little pandemic within the ride. So I think that it's good advice to wear a mask on the plane, particularly if people are near you and coughing, or at least for a good portion of the time. And again, we're asking you to bring masks with you in case we do have some outbreaks and need to ask people to wear masks. And remember, and to bring at least 4 rapid tests with you in case there's a need.
Let me add about the rapid test, please. The federal government, starting last week, is giving out 4 tests to every family in America. They're doing that again. So if you go on, just Google free test U.S. government, and they'll mail you 4 tests within about 5 days.
But most importantly, you wanna be able to ride and enjoy this. You've been looking forward to it for a long time. You've been raising money, which is not always easy. And the last thing you want to happen is to not be able to enjoy it. We did have 6 or 7 riders who tested positive before the ride last year. It was a different time. But nobody got very sick, but they weren't able to join the ride, and they didn't have nearly as much fun as they hoped to. So be careful. Even if you're doing things in the week before with a lot of crowded people around you. I can just tell you that my 40-year-old daughter had a cold this week, and I said, why don't you should probably test. And she said, no, I don't need to test. I don't have COVID. And today she tested, and she called me up and said, yeah, I'm feeling better, but I have COVID. And, now she can't go to her friend's wedding, which is this weekend. So there's more and more of it happening. Not only do you not want to be the one to have to miss something, but I don't think you want to be the one to be responsible for getting 10 or 20 or 30 other riders sick. So we're all adults, but and it's not as serious as it was at one point, but it's still no fun.
No, I just ordered 4
Yeah,
rapid
COVID.
tests in that time, so it's very easy to do. I was excited about that. I'm gonna send it to my family.
Although I ordered mine like when that thing first came out, and I haven't gotten them yet. So I don't know if you'll get. I haven't gotten mine, and I ordered it a week ago or whatever was the first day you could order.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Right, well, get them when we get them. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming again. We're here to help. If you have any questions, there's more information coming tomorrow. And yeah, excited to see you all in Israel.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Looking
guys.
forward to seeing you in Israel.
Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Barry's just joined the call now. I think he got the time wrong. Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting. Good night, everyone.